Welcome back to my channel. My name is Amna and you're watching my channel. In this video, we'll try to talk about the osteology. As we know that this is included in the systemic anatomy. So we have started our systemic anatomy and first we are studying about the osteology. Osteology, as we know that it is study of the skeleton, the bones mainly. It deals with the skeleton, and the bones are the livers of the muscles as they are the site for the muscle attachment and they protect the internal visceral organs. And also, the bones have the bone marrow, which is important for the manufacture of the bone cells, blood cells like the red cells, red blood cells, RBCs, and the platelets. And the bones are the reservoir of the mineral salts as well. So these are certain functions, the some important functions which are included in the functions of the bones. Skeleton contain the bones, ligaments, and the cartilages. Cartilages are the soft bones which are most commonly found in the nasal cavity, and the ligaments are the thread-like. They are the fibrous tissues, and they help to connect the joints to the bone. While the skeleton has two parts, as we have discussed in our FSC classes, axial skeleton and the appendicular skeleton. Axial skeleton contain the bones of the skulls, the cranial bones, facial bones, and the vertebral column, ribs bone, and the sternum as well. While in the appendicular segment, there are the bones of the limbs, right? There are two limbs, front and the back or the hind limb, right? So the front limbs are studied under the pectoral girdle, while the hind limbs are studied under the pelvic girdle, right? Moving forward in talking about these bones in a picture, a very clear picture is depicted over here. This is the skull. Skull has cranial bones and the facial bones of the face. In the face, there are the maxilla and the mandible. These are the jaws bone, and then we have the cervical vertebra, right? And then this is the scapula and the humerus, radius and ulna, right? Radius and the ulna. This is the cannon bone. This is the carpal, and these are the phalanges. Moving forward in talking about after the cervical vertebrae, there is a thoracic vertebrae, and then we have the lumbar vertebrate, sacral vertebrate, and the coccygeal vertebrate. The numbers are depicted over here. Moving forward in talking about the pelvis, pelvis has three bones, ilium, ischium, pubis, and after this, the femur, fibula, tibia, tarsals, cannon bones, and there is phalanges, and these are certain ribs which help to connect the sternum, which are rising from the sternum vertebrae and end at the sternum, right? Now we have certain classification of the bones. So bones are divided on the basis of their anatomical positions or structure. There are the long bones. The long bones are the femur and the humerus. Some are the short bones as well, like the carpal bones, tarsal bones. These are the short bones. And flayed bones, which are flayed in structure, don't have the hollow cavity inside. These are the scapula, and some of the cranial bones are also the flayed bones. Irregular bones, as we know that the vertebral bones are regular bones, they have the vertebral fossa, spinal processes, so they are certain type of the irregular. They give the structure of irregular. Pneumatic bones are those which does not have the medullary cavity. For example, the foal has the pneumatic bone like the humerus. In the mammals, the frontal bone, maxilla, and the ethmoid bones are the pneumatic bones. Sesamoid bones are the pea-like, pea-shaped bones we have in the hind legs between the femur and the radius tibia and fibula. Between that, we have a sesamoid bone, which is known as the patella, and the visceral bones like the os penis in the dog, ox cocci in the cows. So we can say that the hip bones, like visceral bone or the hip bones, these are the pelvic bones. These are included in the visceral bones, right? Moving forward in talking about the different numbers of the bones in different animal, as we know that the human has the 206 bones approximately, but different animals have different number of the bones. Like the dog has the 319 to 320 bones, while the cat has the 230 bones, while the cattle has 207 bones, and goat has 189 bones, sheep has 215 bones, while the parrot has 13 to 25 bones. So you might be thinking that which animal has the largest number of the bones in the body. So we have the snake, which is named as python, right? His body has only 600 vertebrae, right? 600 vertebrae. You can see over here how large it is. But having the 600 vertebrae, along with this, another there are bones which are equals to roughly 1800 bones. So this snake is considered the animal, the snake, which is having the largest number of the bones. Moving forward and talking about this animal, and you are seeing this and you are seeing its anatomy, and the mainly we are studying its osteology, we are studying its bones. So number one, we have the atlas. So we are talking about firstly the vertebrates. Atlas is the first cervical vertebrate, and the second cervical vertebrate is known as the axis, right? Axis, C1 and C2, X at last, and then the axis. This one is axis. This whole is the cervical vertebrae. After the cervical vertebrae, the thoracic vertebrae, and the lumbar vertebrae, and the sacral vertebrae, and the coccygeal vertebrae. These all are included in the vertebrate section, but their names are different because of their position. Vertebrate, right? Okay, moving forward towards the cranial side, towards the skull side. So the skull bones are the cranial bones, right? Cranial bones and the facial bones. And then we have in the facial bones, there is the orbit and the upper jaw and the lower jaw. Upper jaw is the maxilla, lower jaw is the mandible. And then we have the shoulder joint, then we have the shoulder joint, and then we have the humerus. After the humerus has the tuberosity, and then humerus, this one is a humerus, and then we have the sternum. This one is sternum inside the bone, sternum, this one sternum, and then this one is radius and ulna, carpals, this one carpal, metacarpals, and then we have phalanges, right? Moving forward and talking about, this is the scapula. This scapula is the flate bone, and the spinous processes. These are these are the ribs, and then we have the tuber cocci. Tuber cocci contain the hip joints, hip bones like ilium, ischium, and the pubis. And here we have the hip joint and trochanter major. I will be talking about what is a trochanter in the preceding video. And there is a femur, patella, femur. This long bone is a femur, and beside the femur, this small area is a patella. And then we have the tibia. This one, tibia and fibula are together. And then we have metatarsals and the phalanges. This one is a stifle joint between the patella and the femur. Stifle joint. Then we have tarsals and then phalanges. Moving forward and talking about this goat, cranial bones, facial bones, right? Maxilla, mandible, upper jaw, lower jaw, vertebrate, cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral, coccygeal. Then we have oxcoxy. Oxcoxy is a pelvic bones or the hip bones, which include three bones: ischium, ischium, pubis. Then we have femur, patella, the small one, patella, and this is a bone, sesamoid bone, which is a pea-like, pea-shaped. This tibia and fibula are together, tarsal bones, right? And here we have the metatarsal bones, and then we have the phalanges. This one is a scapula, and this one is humerus, radius and ulna, carpal bones, metacarpal bones, and then we have the phalanges in the body of an goat. We have certain bone features I have jotted down over here. Some of them are discussed below, namely the articulation process. Articulation process is the one from where another bone is going to join that. For example, this is an articular process. Why it is an articular process? Because another bone is going to come over here and going to join from this side. So this one is going to named as articular process. And what is articulation? Articulation is the joining of adjacent bone and makes a joint, right? Canal is a passage for notable nerves. Some of the vertebrae has the canal for the notable nerves. Like for example, this is the canal system you can see over here. Why it is known as a canal system? Because certain type of the spinal nerves are going to pass from this side. So therefore, it is known as the canal system, right? And the condyle, a large rounded articular process. Articular, for example, this is a condyle, which is a large rounded articular process. And the crest, a raised or prominent part of the edge of a bone. Crest, for example, we have this one side. This is a crest, which is the large rounded area. Or another means you can see over here, from here there's not anyone, but a large, a prominent part of the edge of a bone, and the eminence, a small bump in the bone, and the foramen and the fossa. Foramen is a large opening through a bone, and the fossa are a depressed, shallow depressed area. For example, you can see over here, this is the vertebral foramen, because this is the hole in the vertebral column, vertebral bones, right? And then we have these fossas, because these are certain depressions in the bones. And this fossa is known as the pedicle. And here we have the spinal groove for the spinal nerves. And then we have this body, and these are the articular processes from where another vertebrate is going to attach with this, right? And this is the C1 atlas and C2 axis, cervical vertebrate 1, cervical vertebrate 2. And here we have the ligaments, which help in the connection of the bones to the medullary cavity, sorry, in not the medullary cavity, but with the medulla oblongata in the brain. And this is the dense of axis, this is the dense of axis. This is the inferior articular process. And then we have the transverse process. This is a C7 vertebra prominence. This is a body, transverse foramen. Transverse foramen, this is a small groove or a hole in the vertebra. This is a small groove, or this is also the transverse foramen. These are the transverse processes, and this is all about the structure of the bone. Now this is the head. This is the trochanter fossa, which is a deep and shallow groove. This is a trochanter major, because it is having a small bump. And this is a neck, trochanter minor, a small bump. And this is a nutrient foramen, and the lateral rough line, this one, and the medial rough line, this one. There are two types. There are two mainly parts in the long bones, epiphysis. This one is also epiphysis. In the middle of there is a diaphysis. We are talking about the osseous tissues. Osseous tissues are the bone tissues. They are also known as the primary tissue of the bone. They are hard and the lightweighted as well, and they are composed of the calcium phosphate, and their chemical arrangement is termed as calcium hydroxide. And calcium hydroxide is the osseous tissue that gives the bones their rigidity. Why we're talking about the bones which have the poor tensile strength, which means that they have the good pushing forces but not the pulling forces. They can push the things, but they cannot pull the things. They cannot pull the things. Therefore, they have another mechanisms, likewise the muscles. The collagen is a substance which is found in the bones, which give the elasticity to the bones. And bone cells are living cells, and their organic matrix makes the osseous tissue. Now we have certain cells found in the bone cells, bone tissues. As we know that the bone tissues are also known as osseous tissues. They are a hard tissue. They are a certain type of the specialized cells. A connective tissue, as we know that the blood and the bones are the connective tissue, and which is has a honeycomb-like matrix inside of themselves. Like we have the marrow, blood marrow, bone marrow inside that, and then we have the bones tissue is made up of different types of the bone cells, like the osteocytes, osteoblasts, osteogenic cells, and osteoclasts. Let's discuss about them in detail. Osteocytes are cells that originate from the osteoblasts, and osteoblasts are the bone forming cells. Osteoclasts are responsible for the breakdown of the bones, right? They break down, for example, uh, 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 if we have the deficiency of the calcium in the blood, then the osteoclast is going to occur, and the bones are going to break down, and then from breakdown we have our organic material, and from that the calcium is going to be given to the blood so that uh, the deficiency could be minimized. So this is all about the osteology. Hope you understand, and thanks for watching this.